I spoke to Vince on the phone personally the day that it happened, and he called me and we had a conversation. I go back and I replay that day in my head so many times, and I'd missed calls from Johnny Ace, from Hunter, from Stephanie.
So I'm here with the Impact Knockouts champion, one of the greatest wrestlers, male or female, in the history of the business. And yes, you recently saw her step through the forbidden door and enter the Royal Rumble, where she, had one of the best performances of the night. She is Mickie James, and how are you doing?
Oh, Doc, thank you. I'm doing so good. I was just saying, I love your Iron Maiden t-shirt there. You're really doing it. Rockstar. Rockstar status.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I could not be better.
So could you tell us what you have going on at this moment?
I have so much going on. Honestly, like, this is a down week for me coming off the high of the Rumble. But we've had a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, like work-wise, from our legacy company, legacysubs.com, to GAW TV. We got a lot of exciting stuff in the works there that's hopefully coming soon. And but yeah, I've just been busy trying to play catch up. Donovan was obviously in St. Louis with me for the Rumble. And Nick was there working with Conrad, doing some stuff with Conrad and Jeff. And so everybody was kind of there, and then to come home and kind of decompress and reset. And honestly, just to let everything settle in, because even leading up to the Rumble, I really, I was excited, but I didn't get too excited, right? Because anything could happen. Anything can happen on any given day, card subject to change, all the things. So I didn't want to celebrate before it was time to celebrate. But now I feel like, okay, we really did this thing. Like, this really happened. And now I can celebrate a little bit, right? Like this. Yeah.
You celebrate a lot. It was an amazing performance. And which is what I wanted to ask you. I mean, you are somebody who's been doing this forever. You have done it all. You have had like matches that people remember from WrestleMania so many years later. Where does this rank among all your career achievements?
This is pretty high up there. And you wouldn't, because it's a Rumble appearance and it was only like, an allotted time, and obviously you didn't win. You would think like, this isn't one of those things that is up there alongside, with Trish at WrestleMania, or with Lita at Survivor Series when her retirement match, or even winning, the championship from Beth after she went undefeated for the first time. The women's championship had changed hands outside of the United States. However, this is very, very high up there, because I think of the, I guess, I hate to throw the word around loosely, but like the history that was really, really made from it, and, the possibilities that now seem endless because of it, right? So all these fantasy booking ideas that we would say, I would really love to see this person versus this person cross promotional thing, but you're like, that would never happen, because obviously these companies don't work together. And then now you go, actually, this could happen. Like, for the right place, the right time, money marquee matches. Like, we are, it just shows how much the business is evolving in the sense of what is going to look, what is going to be a marquee match and draw money. And I think that you see it in other promotions and in boxing and in other sports, where there'll be, champions from different leagues or whatever competing. And so now to think that that's a possibility in wrestling on a larger scale, on a mainstream scale, like, and I know it's been done before. I mean, it dates back to the 80s and the 90s, but in the modern era, to be done at this scale, like, it's pretty monumental. And I'm honored to have been the one that, because in reality, it could have been anyone, or not really anyone, because obviously it would have had to been like someone from a different company, but there could have been a lot of other people that were chosen for that place. And to be the one, I'm super, super grateful. Plus, I just think I think I always wanted something like a button on my career at WWE, or something to kind of hang my hat on and go like, okay, this was it. And unfortunately, like, the last button was not a positive button. It was more of a snap. And I'm grateful to get rid of that snap, you know what I mean? And to have something positive on the end, because I felt like that negativity and that kind of thing started to overshadow a lot of the work that I had done there, and a lot of the matches and feuds that to me were so pivotal in women's wrestling, and the change of it that kind of got overshadowed by that other thing. And it was unfair. It was unfair to me. It was unfair to the girls that I had worked with leading up to that, because they were amazing. And we had some, like you said, we really did have some incredible matches and some incredible moments. And yeah, it was a weird space to be sitting in, because I didn't know. First off, I never thought I would be going back, especially so quickly after all the things, and to be able to go back, and then the experience, and everyone was so kind, and it was a really good experience. It was so great, and I wouldn't take it back for the world. And I'm just it's exciting. It's exciting times, and it's exciting time to be a wrestling fan.
It absolutely is. You brought it up yourself. I mean, the last experience may have left you with a slightly bittersweet taste in your mouth. But was there an apology issued based on everything that happened?
Multiple apologies.
Okay.
And I've said that, and I think a lot of people go like, "Oh, well, you were negative," and I was like, "Well, there's a difference between negativity and honesty, in the sense, because I don't feel like I was ever vindictive or any of those things, because I spoke to Vince on the phone personally the day that it happened, and he called me and we had a conversation. I go back and I replay that day in my head so many times, and I'd missed calls from Johnny Ace, from Hunter, from Stephanie, and they had all sent me text messages. And I was also in the middle of a photo shoot when the thing went viral, because I was literally walking out of my house when the first package arrived. And I've said this, but I'll just go ahead and reiterate. I was walking out of the house for this photo shoot that had been planned for months, to shoot the cover art for Grown Ass Woman, with Chapel Hart. So they were already, they were coming from Mississippi. So they were already downtown Nashville heading over to location, and I was going to go meet them there. And then my package arrived, and I was like, I know what's in my drawer, like what I had. So I had jackets and all these like sequined like things. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if there's anything in here I can use for the shoot, like a jacket or like some tops or something like that, or have one of them throw on a jacket, just extra options for this photo shoot. Because if you take photos, photo shoots can take hours and you need multiple changes. And I had a bunch of stuff, but I wanted obviously more. I can never have enough. And so I did. I opened the box, and then that's what I saw. And I kind of shot the picture and did the post, and out the door I went. And then a couple hours later, I take a break from in the middle of the shoot. And I see all these calls, and my phone is blown up, and I'm like, I realized what has happened. And I'm like, oh God, it got a lot more traction than I thought it was going to get, and all for a positive thing. And even Nick Khan came up to me at the show and apologized. And I don't even know that he was a part, like, I think he was a part of the company, but I hadn't met him or knew who he was at that time, because it was an early transitional phase. But even he apologized to me at TV's going, so, this should have never happened. And I agree, like, it should have never happened. It shouldn't have happened 10 years ago, and now it'll never happen again. So I'm not sorry that I did what I did as far as posting it, because it was a raw and authentic thing, and it created a positive change, and it created acknowledgement from every company that they have to be aware of how it can look to a talent, especially a young up and coming talent who this has been their whole dream, their whole life, and now it's just been lost. Because 10 years ago, Mickie, when she received her package, took that very differently than this Mickie, because I'm just way more evolved. Like, it pissed me off, but more in a sarcastic, like, oh, of course. Whereas 10 years ago, Mickie, I was crushed. It like really hurt my feelings, and it took a while to recover from that, in that sense of like, I thought that I was trash, and in a sense, and because you immediately, oh, that's what they think of you, and it's not the reality. It was just a thoughtless act. That's just it, thoughtless act kind of thing, with no real feelings behind it. And I think that perception and that, that has changed across all companies, that they're starting to treat their talent more like, recognizing that, yes, we are these machines, and we go and we travel and we do all these things and we're tough on TV, but we are human beings at the end of the day. And out of that, like, it has even spawned, different initiatives. And now we're talking more about mental health and Tag Me In United and all of these things, because, it's just become more prevalent that it's okay to talk about these things now in wrestling. Whereas before you couldn't, because you have to be tough and you have to have thick skin. So yeah, positive change is a good change, even if it sometimes comes at a negative cost, So, and for me, it was this thing, that little trash bag cloud living above me for a while. And although I was grateful for it, like to stop, make a change, I did feel like it was like taking precedence over my whole career. Like, the first question that any interviewer would ask me for the last year is, so about this thing. And I'm like, I've obviously healed and moved past it and forgiven, but it is it was a thing, but it won't happen anymore. And now, that doesn't have to be the thing. We can talk about the Royal Rumble and history being made and ceilings being shattered. And that's freaking cool.
Absolutely. It's great to see you get your vindication. The moment I said that I was going to interview you, one of the biggest questions that came up was how you convinced them to allow Hardcore Country and get the belt and everything on screen. How did that happen?
Magic. I will be honest. Obviously, it took some negotiating and some conversation, but it wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. They approached, like when Johnny called Scott D'Amore first, because company to company, he wanted to make sure that it was going to be something internally that Impact would want to be a part of. I don't think the initial reach out was for Mickie James Hardcore Country Impact Knockouts Champion. It was for Mickie James. And in that, when I spoke to Scott, I said, yes, and I had to sit back and think about it because it was all these things. And I said, you know what, Scott? Absolutely. I said, let's do it. But if we're going to do it, we need to do it the right way where everybody went. Like, I want to come out as Mickie James, Hardcore Country Mickie James. He's like, it'd be really cool if you came out with the belt. And I said, hell yeah, it'd be really cool if I came out with the belt. That's the one thing where I go, I feel like the belt is the one thing that we may get the no on, is the belt. Because it's not a WWE product. It's not a WWE. I said, out of all the things, I feel like we can get them to agree to the using the video wall, to using my music, to me being Hardcore Country. But the belt, I feel like, is going to be a little bit of a task. And then I spoke to Johnny about it. Johnny called me and asked me personally. And I said, of course, yes, I would love to. And this is what I would really like. And he said, let me get back to you. I'll go talk to Vince and let me get back to you. And he got back to me that day and he said, yes, on everything. And so I've known, I knew that it was a yes since last year with all of these things. And I was trying to keep it hush hush because I really thought and that was the other thing, I was like, I really want it to be a surprise. I feel like it's going to get the biggest reaction. Like, people are not going to expect this when they hear Hardcore Country. I think because they've never seen the Hardcore Country Mickie James character in WWE form, they were a little bit like, we hope that our audience is going to know this character. And that was one of the reasons for the announcement. But plus, it was a huge talking point leading into the Rumble. Even my friends backstage, they were like, everyone has asked me about your involvement in the Rumble. Like, it is a big deal. And I guess I didn't really think it was going to be as big of a deal as it was. But obviously, and you just think, but it was because in the modern era, like, this is the first time it's really, really happened there, since Dan Severn, since Jeff Jarrett, that's the last time we've really seen a belt from another company that wasn't owned or licensed by, appear on that product. So that was a long time ago. That was, when you think about it, and wrestling's evolved so much since then. So, it was a mutual we came to an agreement, and I never vocally said, yes, I'm coming out with the title, and yes, I'm coming out to Hardcore Country before, because I didn't want to jinx myself. I said, I intend to. I always said, oh, I intend to, because in my mind, I'm like, I intend to, I feel like it's all going to go, but I don't ever want to look like a liar. So if by chance I got in Gorilla and the wrong music played, or they were like, we changed our mind about the belt and I'm in like about to go out, I didn't want to look like a liar. Right. So I'm like, I'm going to say what I believe in my heart is that I intend to this to happen. And I do feel like they're going to stay, true to their word, which they did, obviously, clearly. But what if I just don't? So I'm just going to wait. And I think that goes back to the times that I almost debuted. I almost debuted like 5 times, called my mom on the phone, like, hey, make sure you watch Raw tonight. And then I never showed up. So I think that was like a learned thing. It's like, don't celebrate until it actually happens, because people will watch all day waiting for this one thing to happen, and then it never happened, and it's just like a wah, wah, right? So yeah. And then after the fact, it was just incredible. And then like when I came out, it was like multiple layers to the reaction, right? Like, so when I came out, people obviously reacted to Hardcore Country. And then when they saw the belt, they reacted to the belt, and then they kept reacting in moments. And then when I held up the belt at the end, they were like, holy crap, this is really happening. Because there was a lot of people going like, they're never going to let this happen. They're never going to let her use Hardcore Country. They're never going to let her come out there with the belt. And so there was a lot of these like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, kind of like little moments. And then it was really, really full circle for me, the whole thing, because not only did the, physicality start with Michelle McCool, who was my last big rival before I left in 2010 for the Mickie James angle, her and Layla and Vicky Guerrero. So it started with her, and a lot of people thought like, oh, she's going to get thrown out right away, so then it's just like a lot of these like little things she's going to get thrown, but no. And then I was able to eliminate Michelle McCool, who was my biggest rival then at the end there, then go on. And then the person that eliminates me, and it's kind of like bittersweet in the sense, is someone who I love and admire and who has helped me so much in wrestling, Lita, from day one. But also I was her very last match when she retired at Survivor Series. So it was like these two like little buttons of these full circle moments. It was just perfect. It really was perfect. And aside from the fact that I could have won, should have won, wanted to win, but we all do, that chunk, like for what it was in the business that it did and everything that it did that night, like it was really perfect. I couldn't have asked for a better, bookend in a sense. So.
It's great to hear you say that. Do you think we'll ever see the day where the Knockouts Championship is defended on WWE television or something of that nature?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I did say champion versus champion, title versus title. That would be incredible. That would be incredible. I mean, I feel like it's not something that's going to happen this year because of the buzz of just the Rumble in itself. But since we've opened up this possibility in the Rumble that this could actually happen on a pay-per-view, or there could be, I think with the right story, with the right talent, anything's possible. Anything. And the fact that, I mean, I feel like a marquee match is a marquee match, period. And that is a match that people would pay to see. I mean, people would pay to see a champion versus champion in any company, I think, because these are dream booking matches that they think that they really do want to see. It's always hard to have those matches because there always has to be one winner and one loser. And I feel like a lot of companies kind of go like, well, I don't want my company to look bad because my champion's going to lose, So it just all depends. I feel like there's always a way to do it where everyone wins. And I think the people who really win in the end are the fans, because they get to see this one of a kind, one type of style match that they'll never see again, So, you would ask me a year ago, I'd be like, absolutely not. Like that would never happen. Now I'd go, actually, yeah, that could happen. That could very much happen.
So you wanted to tell us about a party that you're hosting. So
yes. I must tell you, this is something that we hope to be doing more often, but my girls, Chapel Hart, are from the city of New Orleans. They're from like a little town outside of it. But since No Surrender is coming to New Orleans, and obviously we're doing a TV taping after, we decided to kick off the weekend that Friday night. And we're doing a Mardi Gras party. It's going to be myself and the girls from Chapel Heart. We're doing a concert. It's right down the road from the venue. Tickets are going fast because it's, you know, a smaller venue. And so hopefully it's going to sell out, but it's like a little pre-party, little concert. So if you're going to be in New Orleans on Friday before No Surrender, come on out. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have a great time. And yeah, they were, so that was the single we just put out, but those girls are incredible. They're CMT's Next Women of Country. I was awesome to do this duet with them and to make it, this is the, Gaw is the official theme song for, obviously Gaw TV, but Gaw is also became the official theme song for Empower, which was really amazing. We were able to make it the official theme song for Empower. And I felt like it was perfect because it was such a female anthem and an empowering anthem. So yeah. So we're going to be singing that song, obviously, and some other songs. I'll probably sing Hardcore Country. They're going to kill it. They're going to close off the show. I think we have an opener of a girl locally. What's her name? Lindsay? I have to go double check. I got to find the poster. We're just working on the poster now. But she's going to open, and then I'm going to sing a little bit, and then I'm going to bring them up on stage to sing Grown Ass Woman with me, and then they're going to close out the show with all, a bunch of killer stuff too. So it's going to be great. It's going to be so fun. And we thought it'd be a great way to kick off the weekend. And then I can kick Tasha Steele's butt all day long on Saturday.